USA, it's the best. What am I doing on this HHH hot, hazy, and humid day? What was it, 92 degrees today? And I love it. Got my shirt off. Yeah, getting a little working on my tan. So, I unloaded this T-Ruck from the trailer 10 days ago, 2 weeks ago, and it's been attached to the tree stump ever since with this nice long chain, 2 chains. And I challenged the guy to take the chain off. He says, no problem, except that you can't move the truck because the left rear wheel is locked up, the brakes are seized. Anyways, we'll fix that up, but before I did that, once it was tied to the tree, I thought I would put the drive shaft back on, because when the axle came off, when the springs broke, and that's not an uncommon problem. I went to a junkyard with my buddy Nick, and we saw a truck in the junkyard, and the spring eye was cracked. Not quite as bad as that one, but that's supposed to wrap all the way around. That's the bushing that's supposed to be inside with the rubber, and I have to get some new leaf springs because these are junk. They probably sell a kit to rebuild them. I don't need that. I'll just go to South Carolina, get a nice set of shiny leaf springs, maybe a new exhaust system. This one's getting a little ripe. So what I tried to do here with this monster 2-ton come-along that I found in the trash. One of my tenants, I don't know where he got it from, but just put it out with the trash, and I just happened to wander by and grab it. So it's been sitting in my supply of junk for 10 years. So I wrapped it around the axle and I worked it. And I got the chain all the way inside, but even though I've got this truck moved back as far as it'll go, the axle, those are almost sitting down. The drive shaft still needed that much more pulling back to engage it in the transmission. I even got this baby running. What a piece of rusted crap. Oh man. I got the frame all welded up. There was a slight battery tray problem, so I took an old Suburban K5, K10 Suburban pickup truck battery tray, and that was in pretty rough shape, and I cut the leg off that goes to the inner bottom of the inner fender, and I bolted it on with 4 self-tapping bolts, and solid as a rock now, huh? Toyota wanted $128 for a new battery tray and hold-down assembly, and I fixed it for one sandblasted, rusty battery tray with 4 self-tapping bolts and a hold-down from the junkyard in Detroit. Luckily, I've got lots of hold-downs. I tried to pull it with the truck. I put a chain on it, but I couldn't pull it enough, as I showed you, because I put the come-along on subsequently, and I still couldn't get it back far enough, even though I cranked on this baby. This is one heck of a come-along. Lubricate and service periodically. So I removed the drive shaft U-joint from the pinion yoke, and what I discovered was the front U-joint is good, and usually the front U-joint fails because that's where all the strain is from the motor, and the back one's absorbed by the drive shaft a little bit, or so you'd think, but that one doesn't feel too bad. It's serviceable, but you can't hear that, but it's got some grooves in the cross. And this one's even worse. Hardly turns. You start pulling it out, you see all the needles, and it's dry. So I guess, what year is this thing? 93, 2003, 2013, 25 years. U-joints are done. I was hammering on that one over there, and I rounded over the cap. It uses the old-fashioned locks. I thought GM went to that injected plastic in the 70s, but whatever. So I'll have to order a new U-joint. Maybe I'll just put 2 U-joints on. In the meantime, once I put this drive shaft back on, after I had to index it, it's got one tooth missing and a flat. I had to index it and put it on. It's got a rubber seal up front, so it's under pressure. There is an air bleeder hole in the back, but it could be clogged. Anyways, it took a little struggle. I got it on. Now we'll pull it backwards and fire this baby up and be able to drive it around the yard, be able to unchain it. Rescue me, unchain me. Got a chisel here from some garage sale. Herschel 633, that's an old chisel. Got a hammer from China. So let me see if I can pirouette this camera somewhere. See if I can set my leg right here and pull the drive shaft back. off the transmission output. Kind of dumbish in a way to put it back together, but I'll be able to order a U-joint and change it at my leisure. Right now this thing is stuck in the yard, which is not the biggest deal. Bang, bang, bang. We recording? Got the emergency brake cable in the way, I know. Kind of the problem I had with that K5 Blazer that I bought in Salinas, near 2 hours south of San Francisco. The U-joint was not centered in the differential yoke, and I have no idea why. It wasn't touched, it wasn't tampered with, there was grease on it. Nobody had been in there to do whatever they did. All this work, I'm going to take it off again. I'm curious to drive this thing around. So, put the bolts back in. Get some grease. I'm going to put you on hold for a minute. What do we got here? 6 minutes 38 seconds. Don't go away. So we're now 15 minutes later, and I've got 3 bolts installed to hold the worn out U-joint on, and one won't go in. It's hitting the drive shaft. I've got to move the vehicle or rotate the drive shaft. But what I just did is sprung my tennis elbow big time. I was trying to undo this come along that I've never used before, and I moved the lever, and I hit my arm right freaking here, boing, and my hand was, ugh. Yeah, shoot happens, huh? So, next, I'm gonna crank this baby up and drive it backwards, if I can. I'm still a good inch and so back because the axle's pulled back because of the chain, but at least maybe she'll fire up. It is warm.